Bienvenida a Spain. Hola, Tanya.
Hola. I love it. That sounded really good.
Do I
I like your
sound?
Spanish.
Sí, nativo. Nativo? Nativo. How do you
Nativo.
say native?
Oh my
I'm a
gosh.
native.
Nativo. Yeah, clearly. How do you say that in Spanish? We don't even have the word for
No,
that.
I do because it's nativo. It
It is
means
nativo.
yeah.
Yes.
I might not
And
be accenting.
bienvenida.
Bienvenida. Did I
Bienvenida.
not say bienvenida?
I think you did, yes.
Well, anyway, everyone, welcome to Spain. Hola, buenos
And hola.
dias.
Let's stick to the simple ones, and we even sound bad doing that, so maybe we don't try the more complicated words. Just an
Okay,
idea.
fine. Well, Tanya, I guess it's time for you to share in Spain then. Is that where we're?
Yes, our Spain, and it's an
It
Spain,
is an
right?
Spain. Yes,
We've
the spirits were shining on us yesterday.
Oh my gosh, they so were. So we decided to we've kind of given up on the tortilla place. Let's just say we've gone
Right.
there enough times. We're done. We're not done, but that's a different story. We decided again to go and try something else in a different place because we wanted to try a cremaet coffee drink that we'll explain because today we're going to be talking about drinks, so this is all related. And the place was open
The place was open. I was so pleasantly surprised
and
and
hopping was
hopping.
it
It
so?
was awesome. It's called Kiosk La Pergola. Pergola? Yeah,
Pergola, I think, because the
Pergola.
accents. Now let's get back into Spanish, which we know nothing about.
Okay,
The
I
accents
remember
on
I
the E.
decided I can pronounce better Spanish if I speak like a Spaniard. So, Kiosk La Pergola. There you
Yes,
go.
because this is how you were talking to the waiter yesterday, and you just do these kind of manly grunts, and he did the manly grunts, and somehow we ended up with food on our table, so it worked.
Yeah, you thought what was his name? Ricardo Montalban was all around you, didn't you?
So his name was Javi, I think,
It
and
was,
yeah,
yes.
he was very funny. We had very nice waiters there, and very energetic, and the place had a nice energy to it. But what we went there for was
The
this drink
cremaet.
because you'd had somebody tell you that this was the place to go and get the most authentic one, and it was really good. Do you want to explain what the drink is? Because we can just like roll out of the Spain straight into our episode here, I
So,
think.
just to be clear, our Spain is we went to a place that we planned to go to and it was opened. So there you go.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
There's the end of our Spain. So,
Right. Well, to be clear, this doesn't happen to me very often. So it was a very exciting moment for me. Not so exciting for you, but very exciting for me.
no, it was
Um,
exciting to me. And so the cremaet is a coffee drink and it's traditionally served during almuerza, but it's like your post almuerza beverage. And
mhm.
it is a shot of espresso, and it's a layered coffee, which I think was so impressive. That there's this
Yes, it's very pretty, and we will post pictures of
that
it, so you'll get to see it.
you will get to see it. And so this they make this kind of syrup out of rum, water, I want to say, and lots of sugar, cinnamon, uh, lemon zest. I think he said he squeezed the lemon in it too, and then maybe he'll
Yes,
add
lemon juice.
orange. Some people will add orange zest to it as well.
Yeah,
And
the orange zest is a little extra if you want to be super fancy, like make it
right.
a little extra flavor.
And then they heat this up, and then they burn off the alcohol that comes with this, and then it becomes a syrup, and then they layer the shot of espresso on it. And I will have to say, when they handed us this cute little glass cup, we almost burnt our fingers off because I wasn't expecting it to be so hot. And
Yeah.
it was like Christmas in a glass. It was so good.
It was so good. Yeah, it was really, really good. And I will say that it's quite a procedure, like you just explained. So most sort
Let's
of
go with
restaurants,
process. A procedure
a
sounds like
procedure to,
sounds
well,
like the
to for, not for
hospital.
us, to make it is like a long, it's not
Right.
going to take 5 minutes to make it. So what they do and what a lot of places will do if they have a proper one is they'll have that syrup ready and then they'll heat up the syrup ahead and then put it with the coffee so they don't have to do that whole
The
like
whole
process of making the syrup every time.
So I think what we
Yeah.
need to do next is find a place that like special like that does the whole show, because from what I understand there's places you can go and it is a whole show for you at your table, I think, right? I feel like
I
I've read
don't
that
know.
somewhere.
But he did say that it was more of a thing in the north of Spain. So it's here, and I heard this from my friend too. Like this is a drink that is more popular in the north of Spain. So probably you might have potentially more luck finding somebody really making it from scratch, like in front of you. But I also don't know if I don't know if that's being done, because you want all those flavors to kind of hang out together for a while. Like
Right.
they had a pot of this that had the cinnamon sticks in it and everything, so it's continuing to add flavor as it sits there, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you'd want it made like immediately like that, because I don't know if it would be as good. And it was delicious. And then there's two ways to drink it. You can either drink it in the layers, where you get the tart espresso first, and then you get the whole sugary drink after.
Right.
But we mixed it up, which is what he suggested, into one drink, and it was, like you said, Christmas in a glass. It was so flavorful and delicious. It was
so
yummy.
and surprisingly felt refreshing, right? Because it's not like
Yeah.
heavy Christmas, but those flavors, but it was just, alive. It was very nice. And I was like, you take remember I said to you, you take the coffee out, mix it with some soda water, throw an orange slice in it. It's a delicious drink by the pool.
Yeah, because it was a very because then he gave us the syrup to taste on our own, like on its own without the coffee, and it definitely is something you could put with something else. I mean, it was so good.
And I feel like we mentioned that he looked at us like we were crazy. Why would you do that?
I know. And then he's like, I was like, can you buy just this stuff, so that we could do that at home? And then he said, yeah, you could buy this, and he let us taste this like sort of bottled cremaet like thing, and it was just like artificial flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
It was not. You couldn't compare the two at all.
No, you could not.
Completely different things.
Please, anyone who's hearing, if you're invited to my house for a dinner party, don't bring me the pre-made bottle. I don't want it.
Make it.
Make it.
Spend the whole day making it, and then bring it. And we did get. And we did get in trouble at the beginning, because we were getting breakfast, so we got like sandwiches and tortillas and stuff, and then I was gonna order the cremaet as well. He's like, no, you eat first, and then you have that. And I was like, well, that makes sense.
And then he was like, what do we want to drink? And we're like, well, we're gonna have the cremaet, so water. And then he's like, no, you have beers too. Like he wasn't forcing beers on us, and we didn't have the beer. I was like, I don't really want a beer. And then a coffee with liquor, and who knows how much liquor was really left over, but still, that wasn't. I don't drink beers at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not quite a Spaniard yet. It's not my thing.
No, I think it was a very Almuerzo kind of place, which was like hopping at that hour that we went, and most everybody that I saw sitting there were drinking beers or some form of alcoholic coffee, which is the other one, the carajillo, right, which is the more common one that you see here, which is literally an espresso cup with a shot of liquor.
It could be like brandy, rum,
vodka, whatever you want. As far as I've seen, you can put it. So this is the cremaet is kind of a really fancy version of the carajillo, and the carajillo is the one that I see a lot of people drinking here in this part of Spain, and maybe all of Spain. I don't know, because we haven't visited everywhere. But that's kind of like the easy one, where it's just like an espresso and liquor, and it's just put together, and that's kind of it's more simple, easier to do.
Well, it's the simple one. It's like I don't want to say the poor man's. It's the busy man's cremaet.
Busy man, yeah.
But so you have a friend who said it's more of a northern thing, and my Valencian friends say cremaet is a Valencian thing. So I wonder where Javi's from, because maybe Javi's from the north, and he's like, no, it's from there. And my friends from here, like, it's a Valencian thing. Cremaet is very Valencian. So it'll be, but. As we also know,
let us know. Yeah.
Let us know, but we also know that any paella place you go to is the worst paella place you could ever go to, according to anyone who...
Right.
So, everyone owns cremaet. We could probably go to, Galicia. That's from here. You go to Barcelona. No, we invented it.
It's
right?
from here. Yeah, and my friend that said it's from the north, and the guy in the restaurant said it was from the north too. And my friend who said that is from Leon, which is north of Madrid. So there is, I have two people. I'm just saying, I'm not going to say I win, but I think it might be one of those things. And Valencia, when we talk about paella, I mean, Valencia, literally the area where they are growing the rice. So I think it's legit to say that the paellas are from the Valencia area.
No,
But
that's not even legit. That's facts. I mean, that's on every.
yeah,
That's no. That comes from Valencia. But later today I will run back. But I've even Googled it, and they say cremaet is a Valencian thing. So
really.
yeah. So,
Okay, that's we'll have to start that argument
but
and
from
see where
what
it
if
lands.
I think I also remember reading before is that all of these really originated from like Central America and then were brought over
God, way to
because
make it more
I
complicated.
know, right? So,
You had to add other countries in
yeah,
here?
that they were brought over.
Seriously?
Because if you think
Let's
about
just stick to Spain.
it,
Oh,
so
I heard it started in England, so there you go. Let's just throw it out
England's
there.
responsible for a lot of things. This isn't one of them. So,
So those are the sort of the coffee-ish things. I mean, there's more coffees. We've talked a little bit about the.
well, should we go into coffees? Because there's
Should we go into
500. Yeah, there's
coffees?
500. So this episode is about bebidas, and I think I said that last week at the close that we were going to talk about bebitas. And when I first moved here, and I still hear the word, and I feel like they're offering me babies because bebidas just sounds like babies. It's such a cute word to me. So I'm
It
like,
does sound very cute. So it's cute drinks. We're
cute
talking
drinks.
cute drinks. So I've talked a little bit about how frustrated I am at finding cappuccinos. So that still stands. So what I tend to do is and I like my coffee. I do generally like my coffee cold. So I love an iced latte. But here in the Valencia part of Spain, you cannot get anything iced. You have to ask for the coffee and get the ice on the side. So you'll
Right.
ask for like a café con leche del tiempo or an espresso del tiempo. And that del tiempo gives you a glass with one of those nice big pieces of ice in it. And then you need to mix up your coffee if you want sugar in it, mix it in. If you don't, then dump it over the ice and then you've got your coffee, you've got your iced coffee of however you want it.
And I just have to just say, when you just said that, I want to do an aside. The ice cubes here are amazing because they're not cubes. So there's just these giant cylinders of icy heavenliness. I'll just say that. And then you can buy the bags at the grocery store, but they're not cubes. It's like one of those big, huge ice cubes you'd get like at a fancy hotel bar for your whiskey.
Right? Yeah.
It's like this glorious thing.
Yeah,
Sorry
and
for
I
that
actually
aside, but I
went
love them.
Yes, and I actually went out ages ago and got myself one of those big ice cube the what are they called?
Trays?
The silicone trays, the
Hmm.
silicone trays, because you can't get these types of ice cubes, I don't think, out of a plastic one. So I have one of those silicone trays that makes those big ice cubes, and I love it because now have, because you just once you have these big ice cubes in your drink and it takes forever for them to melt, you just
Right.
can't go home and put these tiny things in your glass.
You
It's like,
can't.
what am I doing?
I
This
agree.
is just
And
not right.
I don't know about consume, but I know our Mercadona sells those big ice cubes by the bag, and I didn't realize that because I never shop for ice. But I had a cocktail
Yeah.
party at Christmas time, and one of our friends came with they brought like gin and tonics, and they brought this big bag of glorious ice, and I was like,
Yes.
and there was leftovers, so all week
Yeah.
long I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this ice cube in my
You were
soda
like so
water.
fancy all
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
Yeah, and you can buy both. You can buy a bag of regular ice, or you can buy a bag. I'm gonna say that you can buy a bag of the big ice cube. So that's really cool. And then I think like my husband would like the cortados, which I think is like it's still like all the coffee drinks are tiny.
Right. They
They're
really
all
are.
tiny. Some of them are more tiny.
Right.
So like the cafe con leches are probably an eighth of the size of an American coffee, and then
Right.
the cortados are even smaller, and the espressos are even smaller. So a cortado is half espresso, half warm milk. So
Right.
you're getting, but it's still in a little shot
It's a tiny
glass,
latte,
basically.
basically.
It's a really tiny latte.
And I like
That's
the
true,
cortado because
You do.
it's a quick and go versus it's like a little shot. I mean, you sip it, you can sip it, and sometimes I sip
Versus the cafe con leches that take so long to drink here because they're so big.
it. Yeah, exactly.
They're all a drink and go. Like, even, I mean, the size of a cafe con leche cup compared to an espresso shot glass is maybe twice the size, I want to say, but that's really
Yeah,
pushing
yeah.
it.
They're small for sure.
Yeah.
For
Which
sure.
explains why it's hard to get a cappuccino because there's no room for foam. You'd have like a teaspoon of coffee in there if you did a proper cappuccino. So,
Right.
which is fine. So that's my little hang up, and I make my own coffees at home usually because of that, which is totally fine. Are
And I
there any
think,
other coffees that you like?
well, I do
Like coffee,
like, and I
coffee?
think it's called, I can't, the cafe bonbon,
Oh,
bonbon,
bonbon.
which is
What's
the,
that?
so in America we call it a cubano, but of course they're much smaller here. But it's the espresso with condensed milk in it. So it's like the layer of
Oh,
condensed milk on the bottom. You put the espresso and you stir it, and it's I
sugared condensed
well, yeah, I
milk?
mean condensed milk is already very sugared because that's what preserves it.
No, because they make condensed milk here that's not has no sugar in it. They've just condensed the milk. So I made that mistake once. They have if you most grocery stores here will sell this condensed milk that is just condensed milk. And then you have to find the American, it seems in my experience, the actual milk that is and it might be slightly sugared. It might be slightly sweet, the one that they make, because I've never tried it. But
I have
like the really, really super sweet one that the Americans have it has to come in, I think, from America, is
No,
from
the
what
one
I've
at
seen.
Mercadona is very, very sweet because that's the one I use. It's very, very
Oh,
sweet.
okay.
Yeah, because
Mm.
evaporated milk is the one without. So maybe there's because they have.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of evaporated
Yeah,
milk.
you
Is that
bought
what I'm thinking
you
of?
you bought leche evaporado.
Okay, so what's that?
That's evaporated milk, so it's not the sugar added. So it's like the water's
Okay,
been
that's
reduced.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
For some time I was looking for condensed milk to make caramel to do my millionaire shortbread,
Uh huh.
and you need that really there's so much sugar in that caramel. You need the condensed
Condensed
milk,
milk. Yeah.
and all I could find was the evaporated milk. And so yeah, anyway, so the coffee you're talking about, they're making it with actual condensed milk, because
It's with the
I think that's
sweetened
quite hard to
condensed.
find here.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Mercadona has it a whole
Okay.
whole thing of it because I buy it. And they have different sizes, and then the thing to go back to some things we've said before about food and the preservatives and stuff. You have to once you open everything says you have 3 days or you'll die, and so you buy this thing
Right.
of condensed milk and it's like you have 3 days. I'm like, how am I going to go through this? Even the smallest container of condensed milk in 3 days,
Millionaire shortbread.
well, I don't. Someone has to give me a recipe, but one day,
Yeah.
one
So
day,
anyway, so it's an espresso with half and half, like and half espresso, half condensed milk. Is that what
about
it
like
is?
that. Yeah, maybe less than
Okay.
half of the condensed milk, but it's there, and it's so sweet,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's very sweet, but it's
That sounds tasty, but probably not sweeter than the cremaet, because that was very sweet. It was flavorful, but it was
right.
very
It
sweet.
was very sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
That's me on coffee. I know that Jawad's had a hard time finding like American drip coffee, even in like Starbucks. They're like, yeah, that's broken, because I don't think they even want to make it. So the best you're going to get here is an Americano, I think.
Right. I mean, I haven't even seen anyone try to order drip, but they do sell drip machines. I've seen them at
Yeah,
Carrefour
we
and
have
El
one at
Topo.
home. Yeah. That's how we ended up with one at home, because it was like, yeah, that's not happening outside of your house, I don't
Right.
think.
And I personally don't
Um,
like drip coffee, so there you go.
Me either. Yeah, me either. I'm out too.
Don't like it. But so we've talked about coffee, and now we need to come down from coffee, which is the reason for the cremaet to have the liquor, right? To bring you down. So you have the coffee
Right.
to bring you up from the liquor, but the liquor's bring you down so you can go back to work and your boss is none the wiser, right? I guess that's the
I suppose, or everyone's drunk, so it doesn't
everyone's
matter.
drunk.
I think maybe that's how it goes.
But the there's two drinks here that were new to me when I arrived, and one being the Tinto Verano, which in layman's term is like Fanta lemon with red wine, and it is the most refreshing, delicious thing.
It is. So I'll tell you a funny. Like, okay, so we've been here 5 years.
Hmm.
I have yet to drink a sangria, because the first time
I
that I sat down in a restaurant and I was gonna order a sangria, and my Spanish friend was like, no, you need a Tinto Verano.
Right.
And I ordered one of those. I have never gone back. I have never gone back. Never.
They are pure heaven in a glass, and they're deadly in a way that it's 950 degrees. I feel like I always tell people how hot and humid it is here in every episode, but um, when you're having them in the summer, they're so refreshing that
Yes.
you guzzle it down, not remembering that there's wine in it because it's a very like it's a wine lemonade kind of thing with
It's really
fizz.
good, and it comes. It's what they well, I've had it in, which I love. Is this comes in a huge
A
glass.
trough, I
So
think we call that.
a trough. It is amazing. It's like a really imagine just like a really nice big red wine glass, right? Like a stemmed white wine. That's red wine glass. That's what it comes in. And I think they do make it in different ways because the way I've always had it is not with the Fanta Limon, but actually where they have a soda here called Aquarius, which is a very, very, very lightly flavored, fizzy and lightly sugared drink. So it's a soda, but it's kind of it's a few steps off of like a soda water where it's got sugar and it's got lemon, but it's not super, super lemony and super, super sugary. I mean, it's a little bit somewhere in between, and
Well,
that's what I've had it made with.
okay, because Aquarius is actually an electrolyte drink, so that's and so it's interesting that they're using that because that's what that purpose of it is. I've seen that they have also like in the grocery store they have a soda water that has lemon like La Casada or something like that. It's like a brand that
Oh
also
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
they also make the pre-mixed Tinto Verano at the grocery store that you can buy in like 2 liter bottles like it's a Coca-Cola,
Yes,
and
totally.
it's like a euro 50 and you're like how bad is this wine if this thing is a euro 50.
Well, I don't know because I'll buy that because I don't drink a lot, so I buy the sin alcohol one of those, which I like,
Hmm.
and then I you can so and it comes with when you get it whether you make it at home or you get it in a restaurant, it comes with one of these nice big glass with these nice big ice cubes. It comes with a slice
Hmm.
of lemon, and it is the most refreshingly delicious drink, and I love it. I just love it. It's the best way to have like a nice kind of long drink. And you said it doesn't taste like there's any alcohol in it if you get the alcohol one. So you
Right.
can drink those. But sangria is a little bit like that too, where it's really super flavorful and you're suddenly like, wow, I'm feeling a little tipsy.
Right.
So
But with the sangria, from my experience, I haven't had sangria here yet either because
either, oh my God, that's so funny.
I've
I
had the
thought you would
Tinto
be like
Verano, and
just
like you, why would I go? Because my only memory of sangria is college parties and parties in people's houses, and it's just so it's I don't want to say tart, but it's that you get that in your throat. It's kind of that it, you know a little turpentine to me, like it because you can taste the vodka in it, you can or whatever liquor they're putting in it with the
okay. I
wine.
think you may not have had a good one. I think, let's say, because sangria can be really, really good. It can
I'm
be
not
overly
saying
like
it's
how
I'm not saying
yeah,
it's
it
not
can
good. I'm
yeah.
saying once you've had Tinto Verano,
No, for sure. No, absolutely. But also a really nice sangria. I think the difference for me between the sangria and the Tinto Verano is that the sangria is a little heavier. So if
yeah,
you have a really good sangria, it's going to be a heavier drink, even though it is like a long drink and it can have a lot of ice and stuff. And there's more alcohol in it, for sure.
yeah,
So the Tinto Verano is more refreshing and it's lighter, and it may not sound really good mixing wine with a lemony fizzy drink, but it is perfect.
yes.
Really.
It is perfect. Now there is
And
something they do
delicious.
in the north with red wine that you think is disgusting because I brought it up to you and I forgot the name of it, which is the where they'll mix red wine with Coca Cola, and I have to
Oh
tell
my
you,
God, yeah, you told me that. I'm like, what? Maybe it tastes better than it sounds. I
it does
mean,
taste
yeah,
really good. It tastes really not like a Tinto Verano, not like refreshing, but it's just,
yeah.
it's like
It
it's like
sounds it sounds like a version of Tinto Verano. Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
took it and was like, let's try it with Coke.
right. What I want to do is do a Tinto Verano with white wine though, because I want it to be really refreshing. Wouldn't that be
Oh,
nice? I'm
yes.
like, how's that not a
How does
thing?
that not exist? Yeah.
Right?
How is that not a thing?
I don't know. Well, what they do have here, I guess, would be kind of similar, except
Oh,
much harder
wow.
is the
Yeah.
Agua de Valencia. Have you had one of those?
So I've tried one once, but I will say that's way too much alcohol for me. Just
Gotcha.
it's that for sure is like drinking a Long Island iced tea or something, where you're just like, oh, that's a lot, yeah. But
Well,
it's tasty.
maybe I'm an old lush because I didn't see it that way. So when I've had them a couple times, To me, they're very refreshing. Yes, you could taste the liquor, but it's I've been had them on hot summer days, and it's just because it's fruit juice and vodka and gin and champagne that it's
Right.
you're like,
It's
whoo,
a lot. It's a lot.
it
But
is a
yeah,
lot.
if you're maybe not in the sun, maybe it's a good thing. It's definitely a very special Valencian drink that is probably worth trying if you can handle that much alcohol. But one of those and I'm out.
Yeah, so for me, like it's like a summer on a summer day, I had this, and for me, I mean, I didn't taste the alcohol because I taste the orange juice and the refreshing champagne, and it's all hitting the spot. So, um, it didn't hit me like I didn't feel it. But when I got up from the table to then go walk, I was like, oh, I should have
Mm.
had some agua without the
Did
Valencia.
you remember how to walk? Yeah, you should have had. Did you remember how to walk after that one?
It was a slower walk home. It was a happier
Yeah.
walk though too. You know.
So I can taste all those different alcohols in it, but like you said, it doesn't. It does taste good, so you can drink it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it because of the amount of different alcohols as well. I think generally that's not a good thing to have like wine and vodka and gin and everything all in like
Right.
one drink.
Right. Which is one part of the reason why I don't enjoy sangria as much because it's all those other liquors mixed with the
Right.
wine. And
Yeah.
when that Tinto de Verano, I was like, oh, this is magical, right? Because I've made like I have made back home. Well, no, this is home now. I was reminding my daughters this is home. When we lived in the States, we'd
Yeah.
go to a pool party. I did make this a soda y white wine. So I'll give my recipe to the people who live there. You take some squirt, which is kind of like a Fanta lemon, um,
Yeah.
but it's more grapefruit. You take that and some cheap white wine, mix those together with a bunch of cut fruit. Oh, that will make everyone happy by the pool. Just FYI.
Well, there
So
you go. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like how much alcohol do you want in your drink, basically. And I think the thing that I love about the Tinto Verano is that it is less and
right,
it's refreshing. So you could have one or two of those and really not feel a lot. But if you, depending
right.
on where you're going, probably. And
But
then
when it's
speaking of, oh, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, but if you're by the pool, you've had like seven because they're so refreshing and you're sweating like crazy, and then you get up and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, there's something to be said to be tasting the alcohol you're drinking, right?
right,
A little bit.
exactly.
The other thing, so in England we have something called a shandy. Do you know what that is? What
That's
that
a
is?
beer and
So
like ginger ale or 7 Up, right?
beer and like 7 Up, yeah. So here they have the same thing basically, which is a clara, which is a beer and lemon soda of some sort. So probably also like a Sprite or 7 Up or an Aquarius or something. So that's also a drink, which is I don't drink beer at all.
Neither do
So
I. So
we're not going to be talking about that for long, but that is a longer beer drink that you could get that's a little bit like a Tinto Verano, but on the beer side. So it's like you're mixing it up and sort of spreading out the alcohol a little bit, I think.
right, right. What
Yeah.
I will also think, and I think we've mentioned this before, it's ironic because like when we get Coke and Pepsi here, it has less sugar. So for us, it just tastes kind of diety. It doesn't have that same flavor, and it's not because it's made with real sugar. Because like in LA, you can get the hecho in Mexico Coca-Cola where it's made with the real cane sugar, and that's just pure heaven, and it tastes like 1983, right? You're like, that's the Coke
Oh,
from my
right.
youth. That's the way it's supposed to taste. And then we move here, and it's got the cane sugar, but it's less. So I'm like, it's not it's missing the punch. But yet I'll get like a Fanta lemon or orange, and I'm like, this tastes like it has tons of sugar. Maybe it's because the Fanta here also uses real fruit juice versus the ones in the States. But
Probably,
that will
yeah.
get my blood sugar need versus where a Coke wouldn't as much. Just a heads up
A
on the
whole like a proper Coke wouldn't do it.
no, like if I'm having that kind of like hot but blood sugary kind of thing, you know how like a Coke can be so refreshing. I don't find them refreshing here like I do the ones back in
Oh,
the States.
interesting.
And there is a lower
Yeah.
sugar count because by law there's a lower sugar count
Oh,
in
okay.
these
I mean,
things.
I don't drink the sugared Coke, so I wouldn't know the difference. So
And
I'll
Coke
take your
Zero
word for it.
and Coke Zero seems to be the big thing because I feel like whenever I go out and I order a Coke for my daughters, they're like the Coke Zero, and you're like, no, classic, regular, like Coke, and I feel like
Well, and I'm not a bit. I don't know everything about this, but I don't understand how you have here. You have Diet Coke and you have Coke Zero. I don't know what the difference is. I think it has something to do with the flavor, but
it's
I
the
don't know why they
flavor.
have both.
No, they have both in the States too. It's worldwide.
I
So
don't get
Diet
it.
Coke is the one that has that very NutraSweet taste. That's the one that's been
Oh.
around, and Coke Zero is newer. I don't know, 10 years. I don't know, and that's supposed
Mm-hmm.
to taste more like Coke. So Diet Coke
Oh,
has
I
its
see.
own flavor profile, which was trying to replace the Tab, right? That because Tab
Mm.
Cola was the original Diet Coke before they came out with Diet Coke, and then
Okay, now you're really going back. This is a history lesson in Coca-Cola, apparently. I say let's get back to Spanish drinks. So we
Spanish
could
drinks.
move. If you don't have any other, if you don't have any other alcoholic drinks, there's a few non-alcoholic drinks that we could
So what do you
get
like?
into.
What are some of your
I will
pleasures, as they
say
were?
I will say there is a drink here, and I don't know how much of Spain it covers. I'm not a huge fan, but it does taste relatively good. It's just not really my thing, which is the horchata. And that is a milk basically that's made out of tiger nuts. So if you
Right.
think about like an almond milk or a whatever milk, like it's that type of thing, but it's made out of tiger nuts, and it's really 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 popular like for kids, and
Right.
it's sold in like they have literally just places that just do
And
like
it's like
ice cream and
flavored,
horchata.
and it's like flavored with like cinnamon and stuff, right? Isn't that the flavoring
It
in it?
does.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. It does have other flavors. And you can also get it. A big thing here is the granitados, which are like basically like the ice drinks. What are they called? Shaved ice. It's like shaved ice.
Mm-hmm.
And they put like, they make that with lemon, which is really good. And they make it with coffee, which I haven't tried, but I would imagine that's quite good. Those are
But
the
like
two
you
like
eat it
main ones.
like a snow cone, or is it a drink like an
Yeah,
icy
kind of.
slushy? It's more hard.
More like an icy slushy, like an
Okay.
icy slushy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
I'm also
then
not a big fan of the horchata. I'll just say that I've had it,
yeah,
and it's missing something to me. I feel like it's not done. That's just me.
it's
That's my
quite
flavor.
it's quite creamy. I mean, I wouldn't drink like almond milk over it. But what they do with the horchata too is they make it into a granizado, which is like they put that and have it as a slushy horchata as well. And then it usually comes with, which I love the name. It usually comes also with the fartons,
Right. Yeah.
which so that's always a fun one
Because
for
we're
me.
all 14-year-olds, and
We are all 14-year-olds. And those are these like sticks, these like pastry
sugary
sticks that have
breadsticks.
sugary breadsticks that have an extra sugary layer on the top, and
Yeah.
those are really good. So like that'll be a snack for kids, which is the horchata with the fartons will be a very common, I think, at certain times of the year too. And then you get like stands out on the street that just sell horchata and those things as well. So it's like a very definitely here, and I don't know how far into Spain this goes. The horchata is very, very popular.
It's very popular, and it's a very much an after-school merienda thing. You'll see a lot of parents,
Mm-hmm.
with their little, especially the younger kids, after they pick them up from like the escuela infantil. They'll pick them
Yes,
up.
exactly. So
You'll
you
see
can
them.
buy that iced, you can buy it in milk cartons, you can just buy it everywhere. You can
Right.
find a store that just sells it, and yeah, it's. I mean, like I said, it's not offensive in its flavor. It's just
No.
it's like drinking a kind of a creamy milk thing, which is just not really my thing.
Right. I'm not a milk
But
drinker either.
yeah, so it's very popular, I think, in that way.
I will say I do like a chocolate milk, and the pre-made chocolate milk that they sell at the stores here is to me heaven on earth, because it's like drinking a chocolate bar from Switzerland. Like it's just the most
Yes.
intense, deep chocolate, because it's not really milky chocolate. It's a kind of a dark chocolate profile to it, and it's
Yeah.
so thick, and oh, it's so good.
Well, to your point earlier, I think they actually make it with chocolate. So it
Right.
is actually really good.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes back to the whole like food and drink and everything here, which is that, like you were saying, with the even with the sodas, it's like they're making it with real like fruit juice. They're making the chocolate milk with actual milk and chocolate,
Right,
and
and
I
real
mean
sugar.
it just and real sugar. So, you feel like everything has a much richer flavor to it because
Right.
it's the real things that they're making things out of. And back to the horchata, it's made with the ground and soaked and whatever, however they make milk out of tiger nuts, and it has that flavor.
Right.
So, whether you like it or not, it has delicious flavors.
And
which
to
is
go
really
back,
good.
before, I think in our Fias episodes, we talked about the hot chocolate here. And when it's made like pudding, and you got the one finally that was made like pudding, and you were very happy. And
Yes.
but so the stuff you can buy that the powder at the store and make it. We've made it at home, and it's really easy. You just add a bunch of it, and it turns into this like hot pudding in your cup.
Yeah.
Well, that I like to drink a mocha at home, so that's what I use to make my mochas.
Oh my gosh, really? Does it make it thicker then? Because it must have a
If you
thickening
use,
thing in it.
I don't use enough to make it thicker, but it is just
Oh, okay.
so heavenly chocolatey versus trying to use like how
Oh,
I
that's a really
It's really good.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I have a bag of that in the kitchen. I'm going to try that later. Oh my gosh, I never even thought of doing that because that is what's nice about the powdered version of that hot chocolate is you can make it as thick or as not as thick as you want depending on what you want to use it for.
Right.
Yeah,
So
oh,
good.
so good. Oh my God. Because I do love a good mocha, which is another thing you can't really get here. So
No,
if you
you
go out for a
can't.
coffee, yeah, you're not getting that. So I make those for myself at home.
I went to
Yeah.
this one place and they had mocha on their board,
Oh
and
yeah.
and so I was like, oh, I want a mocha, and then I was like, can I have it on ice? And he looked at like me like I
Oh my
was from a foreign country, which I am from a foreign country. I mean, like a different planet. Like I was an alien. Was not human, dude. And
Oh
so
my
he was
gosh.
so confused how to make it. I was like, just the way you would make it in the hot cup, just pour it on the ice. And I didn't know about el tiempo. Maybe that was would have done him,
Del
but
Tiempo.
Del Tiempo, sorry. And I ended up getting it, and it was like all this milk. It just wasn't right. So yeah, it's that ice mocha, and they
No.
do have a Starbucks. And I'll get an ice mocha from Starbucks about once a year, once every 8 months, because it's not my thing. But every once in a while, I'll crave that special Starbucks mocha taste.
Starbucksy chocolate flavor,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, way to be, given an inch and taking a mile. Like you were so excited to see a mocha, then you also wanted it over ice. Like, what were you thinking? Because I will say, we had a restaurant with a coffee shop. Like making the ratios right for that to be over ice is a little different, and you do
Right.
have to adjust for it. So if you're not making it yourself, it's just yeah. That was very optimistic of you, but
It
well
was.
done for your optimism.
Yeah. I try to be cheery. I try. You
Oh my
know.
goodness.
The other thing is, Valencia is, the Valencia orange. There's orange fields and all surrounding us. And what was very surprising for me here is they have like I'm not a vending machine, but when if you want fresh orange juice, they have a machine with a big trough of oranges on top at the grocery store in the produce aisle, and you buy and they sell the you get the bottles, you put it in there and you pull a lever and it's squeezing fresh orange juice for you right into the thing. And what I think it was really ingenious, when you screw it on, it seals it like in like you just bought it. Like you have
Oh.
to crack the seal when you reopen it. um
You didn't have that in the States? Because we had that in a grocery store near us in the States.
Maybe it's some really first time I'd ever seen it was here. So
Oh, okay.
and my cousin
Yeah.
who lives in Florida, she's like, I've never seen that. And I was like, well, Florida's oranges. You would think, so I was very surprised. So maybe it was was this at like a Whole Foodie kind of fancy,
Probably at like a Whole Food, yeah.
which I didn't
Yeah.
shop that much in those. I'm a single dad of two kids. I'm not buying my groceries at Ear One or Whole Foods or.
Oh my God, Air One. Jeez. Well, I will say, like, speaking of them, I mean, that's really fancy that when you screw the top on it as she closes it. I bought the other day because I like to buy, every now and again, I buy like one water bottle that has like the sports top or whatever you call it, the sippy cup top.
A disposable
and then I'll
bottle.
Yeah, but it has the top that you can, for the sports drinking. And then I'll reuse them. And I bought this little one that was really cute I just needed a bit of water and I was at like Mercadona or something and I bought one of those little bottles. Cannot get the top off.
So it's like a fragrance bottle, right? It's like
It's like
you can't
they've
screw it.
added this extra layer of plastic at the bottom of the lid so that you can't get it off and refill it, which thoroughly irritated me because I'm like, that's the whole point of getting those bottles is to have them to refill and take them to the beach or whatever, right?
Right.
And to actually make a bottle top that you can't take off, I'm assuming they think that means that I'm going to go buy more bottles from them, but now I'm buying no bottles from them.
Do buy no bottles. Well, I wonder. Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Yes, please.
You're not supposed to reuse plastic bottles because every time you reuse it, they say it degrades the plastic and you're putting more microplastics in your body. So maybe it's a health thing. So I'm going to say maybe they're looking out for you instead of
Oh,
being
that's
greedy.
nice.
And there's also the thing that maybe it's also the waste thing because all all the bottles that you buy, bottled water, Coke bottles, everything has these attached tops. So you take it off, but it's still attached to the bottle. So
Right, but this was different. This was literally you can't take it off. But I mean, is there a big difference between me reusing one of those? Now we're getting into a health show. Is there any difference between me reusing that plastic bottle than going to like the Chinese store and buying a plastic reusable like bottle and using that over and over?
Yeah, they're different plastics. So one is
Different plastics.
Yeah, it's a different plastic thing. You all didn't know you were going to get so much education on today's podcast, did you?
Probably everybody else knows this but me, so.
And all of this information could possibly be wrong, so who knows?
Because I do have a glass one that I got for that reason, but it's hard to walk around with a glass bottle in your
Right.
bag and in the car and stuff. So, I understand that glass is better, but that's difficult to actually do that.
Right.
Like walking around with it. But yeah, so I guess maybe they were trying to help me. Okay.
Or the waste. They didn't want the cap to come off, and then it's just waste.
Yeah.
Because that's why, from
And
what I
then it's
understand,
waste.
that's why they have the Coke bottles the way they are, where that thing is there, which is like
It is.
very frustrating. Those tops, if people have not experienced these yet, I mean, every Spaniard, everyone living in Spain has experienced these.
In
'Cause,
Europe, I think it's
yeah,
a European thing.
if
Yeah.
you just take it off and flip it, it's a wonderful idea because you can drink. But then it becomes harder to screw it back on. But if you,
It's impossible to get back on. Yeah.
but if you do an extra tear of another tab, then it's so floppy that you can't pour out of it because then it like gravity pulls the thing below the spout,
That's so
and then
true.
you're getting it everywhere but the glass you're trying to pour it into.
And also, when you try to drink out of the bottle, it hits your nose,
Yes.
and now you've got a cap on your nose while you're trying to drink. There's like nothing really good about the logistics.
And then if you and you pour it then from the cup, if you try to put the cap back on, now the cap is still filled with more liquid, so you're still spilling more everywhere you go.
It's such a mess. We clearly have a very long learning curve for this new thing that came out like a year ago. I think they started coming out, and it was like, what is going on? And you literally cannot pull them off. I mean, the plastic that's holding that cup, that lid to the bit of plastic that goes around the neck of the bottle is,
Yeah.
you need scissors.
Yeah,
That's it. There's no way to get that off.
It's pretty intense. Well, it's been longer than a year because we've been here almost 2 years now, and it's been since we arrived. So.
Oh, okay. Has it?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when we first got here, so maybe it started happening when you arrived, and yeah, from then maybe.
And it's expanded because I remember when we arrived here, our agua con gas that we love did not have that top, but now it does have that top. But the Cokes
Yep.
did. So I think it slowly has progressed its global takeover. It has colonized all the bottles in Spain.
It has, and I think it hit England a little later because I had been quite well aware and using them and annoyed by them for some time before I went to England, and my mum was like, what is going on? I can't get this lid off. Because of course you're in this mindset, you're going to take the lid off and it's not coming off.
Right.
It's like, what did they do?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my
oh,
goodness.
jeez.
The trials and tribulations of drinking out of bottles. Maybe that's
Right.
they're trying to tell us something. Drink out of a glass, people.
And now, okay, maybe you can answer for me because how do you order if you just, since your Espanol is muy mejor than
So
mine.
bueno.
Yeah, it's so bueno. Tres bueno. Oh, that's French and Spanish.
That's French. We are learning. It's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. How do you order if you want just a glass of tap water at a place? Which is hard
gosh,
to get. 'Cause
that's
it's not.
so hard
They
to
want to
do.
sell the bottles of water because that's in like cash flow. People have weird. I don't have an issue with the tap water here. I'll drink it. But when you get your bill, you're like, that bottle of water was more expensive than a glass of wine. And I know I can't feed my kids wine, but come on now, water should be cheaper than a
Right.
glass of wine.
I don't necessarily do that, but I think that you can ask for tap water, and I have to say I don't know how to do that in Spanish, because usually people are quite surprised, like you said, and it is such a standard.
Right.
It is such an expectation that they're going to bring you a bottle, and if you're lucky, they sell little bottles. That's all you can hope for.
Right.
Because often it's a big, whatever how many liters that bottle is, like of the big
Right.
one that everyone shares at the table. That's normally what the restaurants have. So you're down with a giant bottle.
And if you don't know and have made the mistake, then ordered like 3 because there's 3 people at the table and you get 3 liters. You're like, we don't need that much for the table. And they bring it to you with the top already cracked off, so they can't return it, right? Like they're not taking it back. And nor would I ask.
Yes, and
I'm not one of those send it back people, but you know.
Yeah, and usually the question about water is whether you want it cold or room temperature. That's
Right.
usually the options that you get. Out of the tap is not usually an option.
And with or
You'd
without
have to
gas,
ask.
right? Con or sin gas is your
Yeah,
other
I
option.
suppose, yeah, with or without gas. But you could ask, I don't know if this would be the right way to do it, but agua del grifo, so the grifo is a tap, so maybe if you ask for that, they'll get it out of the tap. They'll
Okay.
definitely look at you weird, like, why would you want that, even though I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. I
But
mean, there are people who have issues with the water, and I perfectly think it's fine. No one's dying from it. It's fine. I am not an anti tap water person, so I will drink
so I
it.
think I will say the tap water here is very very it's clear, it's tasty, it's fine. But one of the issues, and I cannot. This is something that I learned about when I moved here, and I cannot believe that this is not an issue everywhere. So for me, I'm thinking that other parts of the world and other areas where I've lived, maybe people need to be looking into this because basically the issue that the tap water here is that it's high in nitrates, which is something to do with the farming. And that is something that can affect you over a long period of time.
Really, I did not know
So,
that. I thought people were just
and
complaining because of the minerals, because it's a very hard water too, right?
yeah, that's also very hard, but I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing. But when we first moved here, we went to the grocery store, and you know how the Spanish shop here. It's the grandmas are cooking for everybody on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they are
Right,
buying like 2 carts of food, right?
right.
And it's insane. And when we first got home, we were like, everybody, even these really old ladies and old men, are buying 4 or 5 bottles of water, and we're like, why are they buying water? This seems insane to be carrying all this water back to
Right.
your house. Like that was the part where we were like, what is going on? And this
And
is what was explained to me.
and they sell
Yeah.
5 gallon jugs of water. It's not like in the States, maybe you can find a 2 gallon jug. They have these big 5 gallon jugs of water at the stores here.
Yeah, and they're buying like 5 of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's helping them get home, honestly, because
Right.
I'm not carrying that much water either. So when we looked into it, that's what I found was that it's like there's nitrates, but I mean there's farming everywhere. There's no way that that is something that's special to Spain. So when we got our house, we did put in oh my god, an osmosis. What's it called?
Reverse osmosis.
Reverse osmosis, because that's the only way to get the nitrates out of the water.
Gotcha.
So if you can't just filter it with a Brita filter or something. You need the reverse osmosis to get the nitrates out. So that's what you can do in your own house. But I mean, we're still showering, brushing our teeth in the other
Right.
one. I mean, it's definitely more of a. It's not going to kill you tomorrow. It's not like you're going to get like really sick over it. It's just one of those. The nitrates, I think, will be long term. High nitrates in your water will long term be bad for your health. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So people are buying water, and that's why technically people are just giving you water in bottles at the restaurants. But a glass of tap water here and there is not going to kill you.
And
Here.
I
It's
don't
very good
find.
water.
I think it tastes fine. It does not taste.
Yes, it tastes
weird.
great.
But
No,
it is
it's
very
really good
hard.
water.
Your shower after 2 showers. If you don't have a squeegee, you've got spots, and then you're like getting a chisel to scrape those spots off
This
when
is
you
so
eventually
true.
decide to clean your shower.
I had Zena clean the shower heads because all the little holes, right? I'm like,
Right.
you got to get in there and get all the little bits out of all the little holes,
Right.
She's like, why? What?
And then she's like,
Gotta take
"Mom,
your
I got
piss,
blown across the bathroom when I took a shower because the shower head was finally clean."
now it's got like 50 holes in it instead of 2. But no, I absolutely
Speaking
agree
of
with
which,
you.
I
I
think
think
I
the
need
water
to do
here.
our shower heads.
Yeah, I think the water here is really good, and I wouldn't complain about it, and I would totally drink tap water if my general water is filtered and I'm going out for a restaurant here and there. I don't have any
Right,
problem with it.
right. Yeah, we're not in like rural Mexico, right? We're not in.
No, I think it's very good water, but I will say this cannot be unique to Spain. There's absolutely no way.
Right, right.
So, this is something that they're saying like it's for farming, all that stuff gets into the water table, blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, if you think
So,
about it, if you're coming from like California, where there's all these farms, and they're using chemicals, right? Right here, this is like more
right?
natural farming, so it's
Right.
it's you don't have the farming here
Yeah.
is pretty much organic, right? This is just the natural fertilizers, whatever that they're using, right? No.
Yeah, no. They spray all sorts of. If you drive around the farms, I mean, they are spraying most of them. I mean, there's no way to do this much farming without those sort of chemicals. I don't know what they're spraying, but they
Right.
have the tractors going through spraying for things.
Some sort of things, but probably not the
Yeah,
harsh
I don't know.
chemicals that are killing all the birds
No.
in California, right? All those
No,
years, right?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that is sprayed on the farms in America is banned here, so they
Right.
can't spray with that. They can still spray, but they're not spraying with that. They're not spraying
Right.
with the Roundup and stuff. That's banned here. So, and
We
the,
do-
and that for your garden as well.
one day we have these dreams of interviewing people. Maybe we can interview a farmer. They can tell us what is
That
the
would be
stuff that they
great.
use, what are the pesticides they're allowed to use, and oh,
Right.
we're
Well, and that's
expanding.
the thing. Yeah, maybe I mean, and that's why I'm like this cannot be the only place that has this issue,
Right,
because maybe they're just the only people, because they're very conscious about it, that they've actually read up on it and they know that it's happening, you know.
right,
So that would
right.
be interesting to, yeah, to talk to someone who knows about water too.
All right, side note, this doesn't
Big
affect
subject.
our listeners, but I just want to know from my own personal knowledge. So we have city water. Do you have city water up in the mountain, or do you have like wells, or do they pipe city water?
So we have a natural spring that's
Okay.
very close to our house. That's all spring water, you can go. It's actually really nice. Like you can go there. They've actually created like a situation where they have taps on the spring, and it like they collect the water, and then you can just get the water straight from the mountain technically, and people go there with their empty bottles and fill it up and take those home, and we've done that.
How are you just
um,
telling me about this? I want to taste what that tastes like. I
it
want to be
tastes
a
like
nature
everything
person. It
else.
tastes like water.
But I honestly not I didn't really get into it, so I don't know who's testing it, and I don't know. But like a lot of people are drinking that water. It's probably very good. And then I think our water is also coming somehow from maybe a slightly better source than your water in the city. But I don't know. Your water in the city may well be coming from where we're getting it, just further down the road. You
But you're
know?
paying for your water. It's not like you don't have a
Yes.
personal well or anything like that. Oh,
No,
gotcha.
no, but there are like really far out houses that have that is how they get their water. But we have a friend that has a house, and the other thing you can have here is you can have like a well, but maybe it doesn't have water in it. You can have water delivered to your house like a couple of times a year, and they literally back up a truck with water and fill up your well,
Because you're
and
off
then
the
you
grid.
get water because you're off the grid. Exactly. So that's something that I know quite a few people that do as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
But and again, I don't know where that water comes from. I don't think it's the same water that comes in the bottles and like the office, that people have those here too, where you can get water delivered from. There's lots of companies where you can, just like in America or in England, you can get the big bottles delivered to your house and you drink out of those.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. That was a little
Yeah.
set aside. Now, in case someone's moving here, we threw in a little moving thing, that you can get
Yeah.
well water, shipped in water.
Right. Well, because we were debating when we got the house, do we get those water bottles delivered, or do we get a water filter?
Right,
So there's still choices of things you can do.
right,
But
right.
none of them taste as good as a Tinto Verano. I'll tell you
No,
that.
that's why they have it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I want to round this episode up with something that you had said at the beginning about when we were, and I forgot to be snarky then, is when you said,
You forgot to be
I
snarky.
forgot. Can you
How
believe that?
unusual.
When you
No,
were
I
saying,
can't believe
oh,
it.
that when we were at kiosk La Pergola, that the
Pergola.
Pergola,
Pergola.
that
The accent's on the e at the beginning.
Pergola,
I'm not saying I'm saying it right, but you're supposed to put the accent on the beginning. So try it again.
kiosk La Pergola. Pergola.
That sounded pretty
No,
good.
no. Anyway, that you were saying that you noticed that everyone had some sort of liquor. I would just like to add to that. Um, Everyone in the city at the cafes at that time have some sort of liquor on their table because I'll leave the
Oh,
gym at around 10 o'clock in the morning and everyone is drinking wine, beers, and things.
what? Oh, so everybody.
Everybody. It's not just that place.
Oh yes, no, that is true. No, 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 no. Everybody.
Everybody.
There is a healthy, which is I think very unusual. If you're coming from America anyway, there is a very healthy liquor section behind the bar in the kitchen or whatever in every cafe in this part of Spain,
Yes.
because that is a big part of serving coffee here.
And what I will also say is the Spaniards are known, and I see it with my own eyes. They take drinking much more responsibly. You don't see party drinkers. I mean, at least in Valencia, I don't know what it's like. I mean, I don't want to compare it to like the coastal cities with all the tourists, but here people drink all day, but you don't see like just drunkenness. I mean, we've got one or two in
No.
the neighborhood
Yeah.
that are just like the village drunk, right? But we don't have
Yeah.
that kind of, you know, just craziness unless it's like during Fias. But they're still not like stumbling. They're just really having a good time, and it's like a friend. It's a camaraderie. What's that word? Camaraderie.
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 Thank you.
No, I would agree. I have been constantly surprised at seemingly how much alcohol is drunk or seems to be going on, and I've never seen like people stumbling out of almuertos and bars in the morning, or I mean, it's
Right.
just not happening. Like
Right.
people are drinking their, I guess they're drinking their one coffee with the alcohol in it, and that's it. You know,
Right.
they're not just like, oh, let's have another. Like, I mean, some of the places where I've lived, it's like if people start drinking, that's the end of it,
That's the end
right?
of the day.
So
That's
this idea, yeah, this idea that you can kind of just have a little drink here and there, and that's part of your day, and you go back about your business, and I mean, it is very interesting. Yeah,
it's interesting. It's impressive.
it's impressive.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I really, I think it's I think all of the different drinks that we've had, and like I said, I don't drink a lot, but all of these types of drinks I think are very unique. I don't think I've lived somewhere with so many variety of drinks,
Right.
between all the sort of unique things that the kids are drinking to all these coffees and the different things you can have with your
Right.
lunch and everything. And then on top of that, they have all the margaritas and all the other drinks that you can have.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
that's just these. We just talked about the Spanish things that we
right, right.
like.
And now, if you do move here, listeners that and visit here, what is surprising is vodka's not a thing in Spain. So
Oh, really?
if you go to a liquor store or one of the fancy El Court grocery stores where they have a huge liquor section, huge wine section, they will have a 20-foot wide etagere of all the gins that have ever been created in the world. And then you turn the corner, and I have pictures, and I will post this in our post this week of the etagere with the vodka, and it's shoved in there with vodka, rum, and tequila. And there's like one little lonely absolute, one little Grey Goose, one little
Oh,
Smirnoff. It's not like this wide array. And when you go to a bar, like it's gin and tonic. Like that's the gin and tonics and like whiskey tend to be what people are drink. And um, I don't go out to bars. I'm single dad of two kids. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, I'm like, I'll go out. A friend will be in town. I'm like, let's go get a drink. And my drink of choice, if I'm gonna have hard liquor, is a vodka martini. And getting that here is impossible. Um, uh, because they will just serve you a glass of vermouth because that is a martini in Europe, and I've told them no, I want vodka with a just a splash of vermouth, and they don't know, they can't understand the words out of my mouth. I've explained it. I've been able to achieve that goal once or twice, but they were so scared to make it because it wasn't on their like
I'm
menu, so
sure.
they didn't know how to charge, and so I was like,
I think
I've
it's
kind of
very
given
difficult.
up.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult here to get things adjusted, which I like. It's this is how it is, and this is how it's served. And obviously, the gin and tonics are very popular because the British, been here for a lot longer and a lot more mass than the Americans. So the gin has obviously really expanded here a lot to come to make us all happy. And I do love a good gin and tonic. So maybe you just need to adjust. But yeah, I think that's definitely the way. I mean, if you go to other European countries, this is the menu, this is what's on it. If you want to
Right.
adjust it, not a great plan.
But the thing that kills me about it though is like I'm literally just asking you to put vodka on ice and then pour it out into a glass, and what I'm having a hard time with where I'm resisting is like it's in James Bond. It's not like it's some like esoteric thing. It's been in Hollywood movies, and they love a Hollywood movie here, so they've seen it shaken not stirred for 70 years, however long James Bond's been around, 60
Well, but
years.
he didn't say what he. I mean, he did ask for a certain type of martini, but it's probably the shaken not stirred is the part that they remember, not what
Not the
the
vodka
martini
martini
was
shaken
made
not
of,
stirred.
right?
Well,
I don't know. It's a different, yeah.
I'm gonna continue my hunt. Not that I go out, but I will see if there's a way to order it. I did ask a Spanish friend, and she looked at me like, I don't know how you would order that. I don't know. I what.
And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, so I
Well,
can't even help you try and order
well,
it.
she's lived all over, so she does know the drink, but she's like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to order it.
I think it would be hard to. I mean, I don't drink martinis, not my thing at all, but I have heard that a really good martini is kind of an art form. So to try and make somebody do something in that area where they don't know what they're doing and not add the little twists or things that are needed to make it good is probably not even worth it.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know.
The one place that did make it was one of these cocktail bars with the bounded menu, like a library book. It was had
Oh, right.
like this was their thing. All right, enough of that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out another time.
Back to the drinks they do well. Let's stick with those.
Back to the drinks they do well. And as we explore, we will find more, and,
Hopefully.
I'm going
different parts of Spain, too. Different parts of Spain, different things. So that'll expand our knowledge.
Well, in July, I'm taking my daughters to Sevilla and Granada for a little trip. So when we're done with that, I will revisit this and see if there's something else we have found down there.
There you go. Perfect. I love it. So there will be more drinks.
There'll be more drinks, and then we'll find out the foods and all that other stuff.
Oh, so good. So excited.
I think that's this week's episodes talking about our little bebitas.
Do you like your little baby bebitas?
I love my bebitas.
Perfect. All right. Well, we would still love any ideas that anybody has, that anybody wants us to talk about, anything you don't know about Spain that we might be able to fumble our way through.
Any corrections or kudos for getting something right? We'd appreciate that too.
Yes, that would be surprising. So until next time,
or as we say, hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.
Or just say it really fast. Hasta luego.
Yeah. That's how they say it.
There you go. Perfect. See you later.
Ciao.
Bye. Hey, can't get enough of us? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Our Spain Podcast.
And on our website, ourspain.com, which we will be updating with exciting new things as we grow.
We would love for you to message us with any topics you would like to hear about.
See you next time.
Bye.